What's up everyone and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. And this video is going to be about my phone. Or more specifically, I'm going to answer the question for myself if I'm addicted to my phone. So before we get into that, I actually want to show you my screen time. And to be honest, I'm kind of scared to even look at it because I think over the last few days during lockdown and not really being able to do much. Oh boy. Honest to God, I'm scared to show you this right now, yeah? But here we go. So Jesus, this is so bad, you know, it's extremely fucking bad. Well, yeah, my average on a day, oh boy, I'm embarrassed, is 8 hours and 24 minutes. Shit. But hold up for a second. Just for a second, let's have a look at this, okay? So I'm looking at my weekly average right now. As I said, it's 8 hours and 24 minutes. And right off the back, one thing doesn't really make sense because Spotify is the only app that I use for music, and I never ever use Apple Music or iTunes. I only have no songs there. And it says that I use this app as much as I use Spotify, which is 27 hours and 44 minutes last week. Oh boy. So I do think that we can subtract the amount of Apple Music because I have literally never used it, and I think it's some kind of bug. And also Spotify for me is not something that's like too bad to have a high screen time on, because I always do it in the background when I'm working. I listen to music. When I work out, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I do think podcasts are quite a good way to learn new stuff and educate yourself. So it's kind of productive at least, so that's kind of okay. Now we come to the more difficult things that I do think I do way too much, and those are most importantly Instagram. Almost 9 hours of Instagram last week, which means a little over an hour per day, which I think is not that much actually, to be honest. Yeah, that's okay. And YouTube 4 hours, 3 minutes, but I gotta say that's not correct. I've definitely watched more YouTube. And I've also watched more Netflix in the last days, so. But I guess it's kind of weird because I do think the time I'm editing should be way higher if it's also tracking the amount of time I'm on my MacBook, and the amount of YouTube should also be higher. But yeah, I do think my screen time is kind of messed up. But to sum this up, I do think we can say that we are all, at least I spend way too much time on my phone. But just because I spend so much time on my phone, is it really an addiction? And to answer this question, I'm going to look up Wikipedia, and we're going to look for the definition of an addiction. So, according to Wikipedia, an addiction is a according to Wikipedia, addiction is a biopsychosocial disorder characterized by repeated use of drugs or repetitive engagement in a behavior such as gambling despite harm to self and others. I do think my phone usage would qualify for that, to be honest. It's not like I'm harming others or myself that much, but yeah, I do think it's harming myself a little bit because I spend too much time on my phone, and in the end of the day, it doesn't really make me happy. I would argue that it actually has a very bad influence on mental health if you're too much on social media platforms. So I would argue that being too much on your phone, maybe an addiction to your phone, would indeed harm yourself, not really others, I think. I don't really see a way why it harms others. But yeah, I do think you harm yourself if you're too much on your phone, especially regarding mental health topics. And also very interesting, actually on Wikipedia there are things listed that you can be addicted to, and it says examples of drug and behavioral addictions include alcoholism, marijuana addiction, amphetamine addiction, cocaine addiction, nicotine addiction, opioid addiction, food addiction, chocolate addiction, video game addiction, gambling addiction, and sexual addiction. So video game addiction is supposed to be a real addiction. Let me check that out real quick. So the definition for video game addiction is that it's generally defined as the problematic compulsive use of video games that results in a significant impairment to an individual's ability to function in various life domains over a prolonged period of time. So yeah, I do think then social media or phone addiction would also qualify as a serious addiction if you do struggle with that over a very long period of time. But let's get back to myself and why I personally think that my usage of social media especially, but also my phone in general, is just getting kind of a bit out of hand lately. But also I do think it's also special circumstances right now with the lockdown and stuff. You can't really do much stuff. Yeah, you can say that, right? So I do think it's a special situation, but anyway, so to conclude this for myself, I would personally say that I don't really have an addiction to my smartphone, because I think if I would speak from an addiction, it would be kind of disrespectful to the people that actually deal with a serious addiction, whether that's an addiction to, for example, opioids, like serious drugs, or maybe even gambling, because I do believe addiction is something that's very subjective and personal. Maybe someone doesn't really have a problem with, I don't know, gambling, but is seriously addicted to drugs, and another person may be okay with doing drugs every now and then, but has a serious problem with gambling. So I do think it's a very personal thing, and I would do say that it's not okay to speak of an addiction for me, because I think it would be disrespectful to people that actually battle those serious addictions. And yeah, but let's get a good end point out of this. From now on, I'm going to track I'm also tracking my screen time right now, because Apple just has it built in, but I'm going to consciously track my screen time from now on, and I'm going to try to reduce that to a real minimum, so that I get more productive stuff done. And yeah, I'm going to update you in the future on whether or not this is going to be successful. And yeah, maybe then I'll make a real video about how to reduce your screen time and be more productive. Yeah, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was just a little spontaneous video, real quick, because yeah, due to the COVID thing, right now I can't really go to London, and my bags are packed, but I can't go. But that's the topic for another video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and leave me a comment if you want to. And maybe, hopefully, I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye bye.